Okay, we are live now. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Union September Community Call, and we all are really excited to have you all. This is a very special call for us because we have launched our mainnet last week, and today we have Carol, the Master Goblin and CEO at Union, and Cor, mad scientist and the CTO. So, today we'll walk you through all the updates, what's happened last month, and what's going to happen in the next few days, and what are the future plans for Union. So let's get started. Over to you, Carol.
Yeah, so guys, insane month, obviously. I think I've never slept less than I did in the last couple of weeks. For those wondering as well, if I was memeing or joking around, no, I actually did get married as well. So for me, it was extremely busy. On our end, I see like TGE and our current launch sequence is just a small step in Union's longer journey. So we continue shipping and building out new features. So we had app v4 go live. For those who don't understand versioning, basically every single time we have a major version or a major update, that's a new version. It doesn't mean that we rewrite the app from scratch, like some projects do when they go from V1, V2, V3. We kind of go by what most major tech companies do and label like major version upgrades like that. So MV4 went live, which kind of like unified our Bitcoin specific features for Babylon and Co. with a lot of the features we built out for the testnet app. And I think was a final bit of like code cleanup necessary to kind of get the app fully production ready. But I'm sure Cor will go into that more. We had the U tokenomics and the utility of the token appear for all of you and kind of alluded to everything you'll be able to do with U itself. For that, we'll go a bit into like when stuff like staking will go live and how the further rewards mechanism will look like. Base support. So I think, or if I'm correct, the full base integration is almost ready to launch. On top
Yes.
of that, we're speaking with the base team as well on basically amplifying the announcement for this. Quite excited by it because we're looking to make base one of the potential venues for U liquidity as well as for Oro BTC. Um, a small portion of the team went to Bitcoin Asia. I think some of you might have seen me doing some talks and stuff over there. For us, extremely productive, although the main team itself at the time was focused on launch. I actually was focused more on our next product, Oro BTC. We got some great feedback on that, and I think that potentially our pre-deposit vaults for this will be fully overcommitted when we announce them. So exceedingly happy to kind of see not just the ZKL1 find initial traction, but also the next product that we're building on top of it find even better product market fit. Uname announced as well as potentially going live soon. I've seen the initial versions of the site fully ready. For everyone who chose to stake an additional amount, we've already forwarded all of those details to the Uname team. So effectively, your voucher for your Uname will be fully ready. And we're thinking of ways to basically reward people who chose to obtain a Uname and become a tighter part of the Union ecosystem down the line as well. So this is another nice touch point for those who are relatively late to Union and are looking to now build out more support. And finally, of course, mainnet and the U drop. I think for the team, probably the most stressful period with so many different areas happening at the same time. Nowadays, token launches have gotten so insanely complicated with what you need to do on setup for Binance Alpha, for the various exchange launches. And on top of that, Union serving as its own bridge as well. In the end, I think purely execution-wise, with regards to that day itself, we could have done slightly better. We had the unfortunate bug, of course, in the claims page, and I think Cor will go a little bit more into that as well during the Q&A on exactly what happened here. For us, we just felt extremely bad that on that important moment, we kind of let the community down on the tech side and had one unfortunate bug. Luckily, we were able to turn it around quite quickly. So overall, I think we managed to make the U drop a success, but lessons learned for this. For the Union team, there won't be next time because we're committed to Union for basically our retirement. But overall, it's something that we found unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. Then tech updates now, right, Lovnish? Yeah, wonderful. So first of all, I would say that the launch of mainnet and the U token was like overall a great success. I'm very happy with how it turned out, except for like the airdrop claim book, which I will get into. Overall, what's really cool about this launch is that we actually used our own technology for our own token in really interesting ways. So not only did we launch U on many different chains all at the same time, all with the exact same contract address, we also used the solver-based interface in order to make them fully fungible across all lanes, which works really well. Now, what's great about this is that you can fully use the token on Ethereum using the ERC20 standards, and that fully works. But not only can you hold the token here, Union's governance is actually being remotely controlled from Ethereum, which is working very well, and we think it's very cool. We think we're actually the first project to operate this way, so we think that's very cool. Now, as far as the U-drop goes, overall, everything was working, indexing, the app live, etc. The smart contracts, claiming from there, everything was working perfectly. We had also done some tests in advance. We had like really small airdrops and we tried to claiming them. Everything worked smoothly. So when we were launching, we're like, okay, good to go. Everything's just going well. We hit the button, it was launched. We looked at the on-chain data and we saw lots of people were all claiming. So we're thinking like, okay, well, like it's going well, right? We see people claiming, we did our own tests, everything seemed to be working well. So it was so good. But then we got some reports from some users who tried to claim and they couldn't claim. At first, we were like, well, probably a browser bug because, well, we see people claiming, we did our test, both seem to be working. But then when we still want to investigate this, of course. So then our engineers split up with the affected users. We jumped into calls. We looked like, okay, what's happening here? And indeed, they did not get a wallet pop-up when they clicked claim. And we were like, well, that's weird. We see people claiming. Also, it's working for us. Why is this happening? So when we investigated, we found out that for certain airdrop amounts that are very large, the JavaScript engine in browsers could not handle numbers that were that big, and they would unfortunately truncate and like use the exponential thing. So like a really big number would become like 1.2 E20, which means like to the power of 20. And because of that issue, when we were trying to construct the inclusion proof in order to claim the airdrop, for those specific users, claiming did not instantly work. At that point, well, we were all very stressed. We instantly got a fix out. We used different encodings, such that even for users with really big airdrops, it would just instantly work. And then it was overall solved within 1.5 hours after launch. However, I do feel deeply sorry for the users affected by this, because this means that clever people who know like how to construct the calls directly, they were all able to claim really quickly, and people with smaller airdrops, they all were able to claim instantly. But the people who were not able to claim instantly were at a disadvantage, and for that we are sorry. Like we really, we really should have got that. So we apologize. Other than that, I think the launch went very well. Really happy about it. Governance is very secure. Network is very secure. Transactions are progressing smoothly. So super happy overall. I'm very proud of the team. Now, for what's coming up, Base, as Kyle teased earlier, is coming very, very soon. Like we're doing final testing now, but it's working perfectly. It's great. I think Base, from a technical POV, I think they're doing really well. The infrastructure is great. It's easy for us to generate proofs for them. They have solid RPCs. So Base is a really quality product, and we're happy to be collaborating with their team. That's really cool. Also, EU, some of you guys pre-staked. As noted, when pre-staking will go live approximately 2 weeks after TGE. We're still on track to hit that deadline, so we'll be available then.
And I think it's important to note that the pre-stake operation has already performed, right? So it's truly is pre-staking, where right now regular unlocked tokens, foundation, etc., all of those are like excluded from staking, and only the parties who effectively pre-staked are earning staking rewards for this period.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's fully working. That's generating yield. Also, this portion will be integrated directly into app.union.build, which will be really cool. It's a very tight integration between Azure and Union, and we'll be proud to ship it. So that's going well. Other than that, there's exciting ecosystem projects. Uname, as Carl mentioned, is going well. RO B2C, also development full speed ahead. I'm personally very bullish on RO. I think it will be fantastic. And like Kyle was saying, I think it's a really cool use case of our CK interoperability tech.
Yeah, and kind of what we expect to happen with Oro is projection-wise that potentially in the first year we'll be able to do some pretty significant U token buybacks. So for those wondering, like, how does Oro fit into the larger scheme of Union? It's fundamentally a revenue driver for the network itself and for the U token. We won't be distributing every single user one Oro BTC because that doesn't make a lot of sense. Instead, we're earning yield on Oro BTC and funding that back into the U token. So right now, basically for the next year, that's our biggest focus, is building out these revenue drivers specifically to support the U token.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's very happy overall. The team is quite tired from the TGE launch, but then again, literally on the day of TGE in the evening, we were already coding again, whiteboarding, thinking of new designs, new systems to build, and everyone's still very excited. So I'm very happy about that.
Okay, so I'm up. It's community. Just little things that have been going on in the community the past month. We ran an I Love You campaign, which just launched before TGE. Thank you to everyone who sent in photos of things that you love and participated in that. It was really nice to see our timelines filled with pictures from you guys, so thank you very much. We had an in real life wandering whale shark spotted, as you know, Unoia, or Unoa, as some people pronounce. We've had some photos of her put on the wandering whale shark timeline. We work with a really awesome charity called the Galapagos Whale Shark Project, who send us constant updates of her movements. And we've had photos, but we had a video for the first time. You might have seen it in our mainnet launch video, as you can see here. She's very majestic, wandering around the ocean, running around the Galapagos and into the Pacific currently. For Union Hallcast, we had a few less last month, just because all hands on deck for mainnet. We had guests from Zama, Pith, Maiden, Redstone, and a lot more coming this week. We have some really, really good guests coming up later on this week, which we'll be announcing later on today. So excited to get that announcement out. And Union on Air, we've been here, there, and everywhere, all over different spaces. We had the KuCoin Live earlier on Monday. We had our first ever Korean AMA, which was really amazing. It's the first sort of bilingual AMA I've really seen. So props to the guys who ran that. We're on block by block, and Sarah made another appearance on The Accountant Quits. So that's a quick fire rundown of all things community. I'm going to pass it on to Tucker, who is our head of design, who's going to talk you through a little bit of the Union rebrand. I'm going to hop off because I'm going to be collecting all of your questions for the end. So thank you, everyone.
Hey, Tucker here, head of design for Union. One of the things that I'm really excited about for the next 6 months to a year with Union is our new rebrand. More a refresh. We're not really rebranding. All of the things that you know and love about the Union brand are still there. We're just turning everything up to 11. Lots of new colors, lots of new poppy aesthetics that we've got coming on. We hired I contracted a designer I'm good friends with. And we've been just knocking out new graphics, new stickers, there's new merch that we've got coming out. It's all great. We're inspired really by speed and like the kind of the pinnacle of like when the internet was like really fun, kind of the Y2K, late 90s, early 2000s aesthetics. And so we're trying to kind of think of what the ideal version of Union is, right? The ideal version of Web3. And we want to have a lot of references to that. So I'm really excited for what's coming with that. Expect more on the rebrand when we have it finished up in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, super excited. And from that, I think we're kicking it over to FAQ next.
Well, I mean, one more thing on the design is
Yeah.
I think a really cool portion of this design is, I think Union has a pretty long cultural history at this point, right? We have the Whale Shark, we have the Goblins, we have like CKGM, like Base, like all kinds of cool cultural references. And it's really fun. Like when on X, when we're chatting with people, sometimes with their Kyle's post or my post, people make like really obscure references to something we did like 1.5 years ago. And I think what's really cool in this is a more modern aesthetic, but like there's huge sticker packs of like all of the things we did before that are still, so all of those cultural references are still there. And that's an aspect of this.
Yeah. And what I think will be cool, and I think what will be unique for Union, is that we're going to provide pretty much most of these assets for people to use to make content. So all of the stickers will be available for people to use, print, make shirts, do whatever you want. I like that kind of design transparency that we have going on. I think if you look at a lot of other projects, they lock down all of their design assets because they're worried people are going to misuse them or do whatever. That's cool. If you want to misuse them, it's fine. But like, I trust you guys to make cool things. And I want to facilitate that kind of, a lot of the stuff that I think worked really early on for Union was all of the creator centric stuff, especially around Wandering Whale Sharks. The art stuff is still the coolest thing I think we did on my side of things from the design perspective. So I want to keep that going and also give you guys the tools to make really cool content for the future.
So coming on the events, like last month, we had presence over Bitcoin Asia. Carol was at our main stage panel, and he had a lot of media interviews scheduled over there too. And apart from that, we hosted a side event around ETH Safari, which is the biggest ETH event in the African subcontinent. And apart from that, like I was there around ETH Vietnam. I was on a panel where I talked about how we are bringing in ZK-based interoperability and why is it needed. And coming up next, Union team is going to be there in Korea for the KBW and Token 2049 in Singapore. So if you're around and see any of us, make sure to say a ZKGM. I guess that's it, and we can move forward to the questions. And like to start with, we have prepared a list of frequently asked questions from the community. And Carol, like I'll ask you, I'll start with the frequently asked questions first, and then we'll move over to the questions from the call today. So the first question is, what time or date will the claims close for the TGE?
You are muted, Kyle.
You're muted.
Well, I don't actually know on the top of my head when claims close. I think you have still 1 full week, if I'm correct. But do you know the exact date?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks precisely from the moment it went live. It went live last Thursday, so 1 week from now, approximately.
Yeah, a little bit more. 30 days.
Yeah.
Got it. And next up, if someone didn't get allocation this time, is there still a chance to participate in the future?
Yes, I mean, like people can see, we reserved in total 12% for this. 4% has been used up in the initial airdrop. So basically another 8% is going to be distributed potentially in airdrop season 2. We're still figuring out exactly by which metrics. One thing we noted is, and I think a lot of community members here probably yapped about multiple projects, etc., is that airdrop farming is extremely gamed right now. So we're basically looking for ways to make it less gamed, reward actual community members, and also drive more volume for mainnet activities. So basically be on the lookout. Uname will potentially play a role in this as well. So we'll have various ways to basically get into you if you're new to the community.
That's amazing. So we have a lot of rewards remaining for the real users right now. So you mentioned about the season 2. So when does the season 2 officially start? Like there has been a hype around Twitter for the season 2, and people are asking us like when season 2.
Yeah, I think you're speaking for Mad Yaps specifically, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll announce that. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to make the start. One thing we noticed initially with like season 0 is we started too early. Union originally is one of like Kaito's actually initial partners. I'm not sure how many people are familiar, but we won, I think, the third vote to get our own Kaito board back when projects really had to go through this grueling vote process, competing against like Mega ETH and such. And because of that, we had been running on Kaito for quite a long time, which caused a lot of people to become quite fatigued. So this time we don't want to start season 2 too early as well, to basically ensure people aren't fatigued. At the same time, we have to balance this, right? Because in the end, like I don't really care too much about people who bought their Twitter accounts to farm yaps automatically, or who like ask Grok to write tweets for them and put those in. Specifically with like the initial airdrop, we were quite stringent and tried to filter this out. Like Kaito gives data on if users are botting their own account, if they're like using AI generated text messages, and we try to slash as many of those users as we could effectively. Because in the end, like we're not looking to reward Sibyls and bots. So for season 2, we'll do a more like balanced approach once again, and we'll announce that properly as well. Maybe it'll be a bit retroactive too. So effectively, people who have been talking and teaching about Union while we haven't announced anything yet will be included specifically because right now we don't have those bots and such.
Got it. And there has been a lot of questions around pre-staking too. So can you please explain the pre-staking rewards in more detail?
Yeah. I think so. Tokenomics. So the pre-staking rewards contain of two different components. One is the fact that during this pre-staking phase, only pre-stakers specifically have access to staking altogether, which means that although like Union has a 6% yearly inflation, the staking rewards are really concentrated on a tiny user base. On top of that, additionally, we have some Babylon baby token incentives that were initially given to us for incentivizing Union's collaboration in the Babylon ecosystem. And so for the pre-stakers, effectively their incentives are dual. We provide them with increased APY from the kind of stake concentration, the incentives from baby token, and then finally the permanent bonuses that you get by choosing to be a pre-staker, which help you in season 2 for the airdrop, give you the free uname and I think a couple of other bonuses. Once like pre-staking is fully live in the UI and regular staking as well, we'll also announce which individuals can either go on a date with Jessica or specifically which individuals we will fly out to do a meetup with the team.
That's quite interesting. And like, are the pre-staking rewards already occurring
Sorry, what?
for this? Are the pre-staking rewards already occurring for the users who have staked?
Yeah, exactly. So those are staking indeed right now. So effectively, like I think, not sure how many hours before TGE we performed the initial stake operation for the pre-stakers, but they have been staking technically before claims went live. I think a couple of hours, and have been earning rewards all along right now.
Amazing. And like, will there be any full staking and more staking vaults coming soon?
So regular staking will go live together when pre-staking goes live. Sorry, when pre-staking like becomes available to be viewed to enter the unstake queue. With that, pre-stakers will receive, I think, Azure U as their redemption token. That means that they can potentially use that immediately in DeFi. Means that they're accruing Azure points as well. So that's one additional bonus that we got for them. And means they can LP on Tower for Tower tokens and additional baby rewards as well. So basically, we're looking to go live with all of this at the same time. That means that when we go live with this as well, I suspect the pre-staking APY will go down as regular stakers will start to stake. The baby incentives we set aside initially are reserved specifically for people who chose to do pre-staking, and those end as well at that time.
Got it. And coming up next, people are asking about the roadmap moving forward with respect to listings, partnerships, and ecosystem growth specifically.
Yeah, exactly. So we are looking to talk with multiple exchanges for further listings, because we realized that initially I think for Korean users, they must have noticed the first 12 hours they couldn't trade on Bybit. So that was an unfortunate mistake from Bybit. So we are looking to basically extend liquidity venues right now for the U token. So be listed on more exchanges, make sure more users have access to buying the token. And on top of that, we are basically proceeding with just the regular project timeline. So for those interested, our initial roadmap that we published on the website is still the roadmap that we are sticking to. So new chain integrations, new partnerships here, with main revenue driver being Oro BTC.
Thank you so much for clarifying this. And next up, that now the union chain is live. Why is the finality time for the other chain is still same as before? I guess, Core, if you can address this.
Yeah, so excellent question. So Union is kind of like a two-part system, right? Like when you look at the transport layer, we use CK proofs and full consensus verification of the chain, which means that the moment that a chain reaches finality, that's when you can transfer. Now, this is all public data. You can look this up for any chain. For example, when Corn settles, when Bob settles, when Ethereum reaches finality. That's basically like the core. However, within this transport layer, we designed it in such a way that market makers are able to already fulfill a transfer before finality of the underlying chain has been reached. So if you, for example, want to make a transfer faster, you look at the chain, you see, well, okay, Ethereum, like already 5 blocks happened since the user submitted the transfer. I think it's very unlikely that Ethereum will fork. So I will like already fulfill this transfer. And if it fails, well, then like I lose. But if it just goes through, then I get a small fee. So we think this makes a lot of sense. And the way in which we're building this makes sense that currently we don't have market makers enabled, but once we enable market making for these routes, transfers will go much, much faster. So that's really cool. But yeah, like all of the infrastructure and technology for that's already in place.
Thank you so much, sir, to demystify how things are working on the back end. And next up is like, are you working with DEX aggregators like Jumper, given most bridging volumes comes from them?
Yes, at the moment, we're definitely talking with Jumper, and I know the Li-Fi team and such. That's not the biggest priority for us. We're actually looking to become a native bridge for more assets. The reason for that is when you're doing like bridging on Jumper, you constantly have to go down in price as you compete with other bridges. So although it's nice for generating high volume, it's not nice for generating high revenue. And that's what you kind of see with, let's say, Layer 0, where even though Layer 0 did the Stargate acquisition, the token price didn't go up and it doesn't bring in additional revenue to buy back the Zero token. On the our end, like actually being like native bridge and having certain native assets issued through you is actually a bigger revenue driver. So although like total asset support is lower and you're not supporting 1,000 different assets, instead you have a couple of core assets that bring in much higher revenue. So that's basically what we are looking to achieve in the next 6 months, drive up revenue through this specifically.
Got it. That's quite interesting. And like coming on to the next question, it's like, are there any additional major partnerships or integrations that are coming up in the near future?
Yeah, I think we
So-
covered that. So next up, I think the big one that we have on announce is Base as the big integration and partnership going live, specifically with the coordinated with the Base team as well.
Yes.
For the ones after that, not sure yet. Maybe I don't know. Actually, might be Plume, might be one of the others. We have a couple of ongoing conversations right now.
Okay, so there is another question which is like very frequently asked from the community, that why the union team is not talking about the FTV. Can you address that a bit?
Yeah, so to be honest, guys, like price talk differs day by day by day. I think we did a really good airdrop where we filtered a lot of symbols. I think like my DMs are filled with people showing screenshots of how they use 30 different wallets to farm Union and then complaining that we filtered them out. So I feel like we did a really decent and fair launch without necessarily a crime pump, without gaming the system and airdropping to ourselves. For us, FDV isn't the only target and not the only success metric for Union. I think we've also been very public at this very start that Union is a multi-year long journey. So in our end right now, we are higher than our last fundraise or floating around that valuation right now. And so quite happy with this as a trajectory for our future growth. Because specifically, I personally am not looking to run a project where we have one single massive candle and then down only, and where the team kind of goes the project. Instead, we're looking here to build for the next couple of years on Union.
Yeah. So now going forward to the questions that have been asked during the call. So the first one is, why must Binance Alpha be prioritized?
Sorry, Lovnish, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So the question is, why must Binance Alpha be prioritized?
Um, in general, that's part of like access to a larger user base. It's also potentially part of the future fees that you pay for Binance listing. So I think everyone is aware of what crypto projects need to do to basically get future listings. And in our case, I think we got a pretty decent deal overall and a nice additional token distribution. And in the end, for us, what went to Alpha is still significantly less than went to our original community members.
Interesting. And next up, how does unstaking work for the stake tokens?
Yeah, so I can answer that. The moment the dashboard goes live, pre-stakers have the ability to enter the unbonding phase. And then like if you follow the normal staking rhythm, then it's like 21 days to unbond, and then like it will just go through the normal queue. And on top of this, I think Azure is providing like some faster exit opportunities for those who want to. But for that, you need to check their accounts and the details. And I think that comes at a fee.
Thank you so much for addressing that, Kor. And next up is around staking again. Will Union do quarterly rewards for the stake tokens?
No, I think stake token rewards effectively are accrued almost immediately. I'm not sure what the interval is for, if it's like every epoch or
Yeah. I think like basically block by block. Now there are some exceptions. For example, Kyle mentioned like a baby vault. Now for that, there's some additional incentives on top of the normal staking. For that, it's determined by the provider of the incentives how they implement that. Right. So for example, Babylon, they have their own scripts to like reward users, and it's depending on what they do. But I think it's also like every 15 minutes. It's not like all of these are dropped in like a quarterly interval.
Interesting. Like every 15 minutes. That's really great. Also, next up, are there any lessons learned from the TG that you would have done differently? I guess you have already covered that a bit, but if you guys want to dig a bit deeper into it.
Yeah, I mean, next time, well, the thing is, there will not be another TGE moment. But specifically for the U drop, I would have tested with like an obscenely large airdrop just to make sure it goes well. Of course, in the final pre-checks, we did not want to do this because we did not want to give ourselves free tokens, right? So, but yeah, I like really wish we would have checked that.
Next up, will the dashboard be reset for season 2?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So we already alluded to it. The dashboard won't be reset because specific rewards for certain users is permanent XP boosts. So that means that as season 2 starts, those users will have a permanent advantage over all the users.
Amazing. So there, hopping on to the next question, it's what anti-Sybil measures did we got for the season 1? Like, what was the criteria for the season 1 for the Sybil particularly?
Yeah. So we had a couple of things that we wanted to ensure. So one thing was if you were a trusted setup ceremony contributor, or if you owned a Whale-Shark NFT, wants to make sure that regardless of your dashboard level, you would be included in the airdrop. On top of that, we basically worked with 2 separate Sybil analysis companies, and what we noticed was that especially in the level 1 to level 6 range, there were a lot of users doing manual sibling. So for those people that might not be familiar with the terminology here, sibling isn't just making a bot interact on your behalf. It is when you yourself are running multiple accounts, right? Multiple Twitter accounts, multiple on-chain wallets, not just using 2 or 3 like for various purposes, but effectively trying to make each of them seem like an individual. In the 1 to 6 range is where we found most, but even in the level 7 range we found. So one of the things we did was have a cap for level 7, that only level 7 users without any additions would get in. We cross-referenced all users against known anti-Sybil databases. So we used Sybil databases from previous projects and cross-referenced that with Kaito data. So it means that if you had like 1 legit account, but you were on the side sibling with 5 illegitimate accounts, we cut all 6 accounts out of the set. And that's one thing that we've noticed as a trend recently in crypto, is that a significant amount of users is actively sibling, not just Union, but other projects as well. And we took a very proactive stance here, where if you did any other project previously, we'd cut you in this one as well.
Okay, coming on the last question for today. So I guess Tucker, you'd be the right person to answer this. So are there any future plans for the Wandering Whale Sharks NFT?
Yeah, obviously we want to continue to keep that community alive. Obviously, we expected there would be some people selling because they're just in it, for tokens. But I'm in it for the sharks, and so I want to continue to build that community as much as we can. So we'll continue to look for ways that we can reward whale shark holders, and obviously we're still going to be trying to do the conservation stuff on the side, which I think is a great, just general good thing for the earth. So yeah, expect more coming down the line for whale sharks. If you sold, like, that happens, but don't count us out. We're still gonna have a lot of cool stuff down the line.
Okay, so that was it for today. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today's community call. Thank you so much, Carol, Cor, and Tucker for being here, and Brittany too, and for addressing all the community's questions. And I hope like a lot of their doubts are cleared now. And ZKGM to everyone. And we are here for sustaining, right? Union has a big way to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks everyone for attending, and we'll be back again next month. Cheers,
Yeah.
everyone.
Hey, thank you all. See you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
CKTM, everyone.